Well, they made another World War II movie, but I mean, because of the people who's attached to this movie, it's obviously a bigger deal. Dunkirk is the newest film written and directed by Christopher Nolan. I'm going to admit, I'm not really like a Christopher Nolan fanboy. Like, I thought a couple of his movies were great, but I've thought also some were kind of just decent. But when I heard he was taking a stab at the war film genre for his next film, I didn't really know what to make of it, because all of his other movies in the past have been completely different than war films. But, you know, I figured I'd at least give it a chance because it sounds interesting. Dunkirk, of course, is based on the true story of the Battle of Dunkirk during World War II, where 400,000 Allied and French soldiers are stuck on this beach, surrounded on all sides by Germans. So they have to somehow find a way to get home during this huge battle where they're surrounded on every side. What's cool about this film is it's told through several different perspectives, because you got it through the air with Tom Hardy and his crew. Mark Rylance is on the sea with his crew. And then you got Fionn, Whitehead, I think that's his name, and Harry Styles. They're the soldiers that are kind of on the ground and kind of by sea too. But it's all told through the same period of time, so they kind of cut back and forth between all of them. So there's not really like a overall like just top billed star in this, but I mean that's not a bad thing for this movie whatsoever. Sadly, I didn't get to see this movie in IMAX or 70mm yet, but even without those, this movie's like gorgeous to look at. Since there's not really a ton of dialogue in this movie, a lot of the time it solely relies on its visuals and its musical cues, because it's Hans Zimmer's score, of course, because it's a Christopher Nolan movie. And for the most part, that's really effective, in my opinion. Like in a lot of the more tense moments in the movie, you'll hear like the ticking in the background that you hear from the trailer. And I thought that was really cool, and it was really effective for the most part, building the tension. My personal favorite scenes visually were all the scenes involving the planes, just due to how massive and beautiful the oceans were. And like going on at the same time are these huge air battles, and it just looks perfect. And those are the scenes obviously meant for the IMAX and the 70mm. It's not even just the plane scenes that it feels this way though, because you get the big scale when they're on these like huge wide open beaches where you see how many people were just in these battles alone. Between that and when they're in these confined ships, it's crazy. Like I said earlier, there's not really an actual main star in my opinion in this movie, but the newcomer Fionn Whitehead does a really great job. I'd say you see his story the most in the film and you kind of follow him more. But he holds his own in this film. Obviously, there's the usuals in almost every single Christopher Nolan movie. You know, Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy. They're both great, even when they're not the main focus of the movie. I mean, Tom Hardy spends most of the movie flying around anyway. But he gives a solid performance in the few moments you actually do see him throughout. Even Harry Styles is pretty good. And honestly, it surprised me since I wasn't expecting him to do well at all in this role. Kenneth Branagh and Mark Rylance also give pretty compelling performances, even though they're kind of limited in their screen time, because they kind of switch between everybody throughout the movie. But I really enjoyed them as well. There wasn't really too many bad performances in this movie at all. I actually kind of wish the movie was longer, because the story was so interesting. I mean, it's only an hour and 46 minutes, which is relatively short for any Christopher Nolan movie. Even though I know this is based on a true story, I was still kind of expecting some type of Christopher Nolan-esque twist, like in every movie he does. And there is kind of a twist, but it's not really a twist at all. I won't give anything away, but I'll just say that all the stories come together eventually. If I had any type of gripe with this movie, I'd probably just be the fact that sometimes it can get confusing because it switches perspectives a lot. So you go back and forth between all these different perspectives, and it's not always in present time. So you kind of have to, like, you know, use your brain. Like any other Christopher Nolan movie, I'll have to probably watch it another couple times before I completely understand everything. And even then, it could be, you know, an issue. So to give my overall score for the movie, I'd have to give the movie Dunkirk an A. For his first foray into the whole war film genre, Christopher Nolan does a pretty good job with the whole, you know, genre as a whole, making a visually stunning, really interesting telling of the Battle of Dunkirk. And because of this movie, lots of people, including myself, are actually going to go home and, you know, research the actual battle and learn more about it. Because learning about history is interesting. But anyway, that was my quick video about Dunkirk. You know, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, talk about the movie when it comes out this weekend. But until then, I will see you guys later.